Your turn. Okay. I have 10 o'clock, so I will call the Harrison County Commission meeting for Wednesday, June 18th, 2025 to order. And if you will rise and join us in the invocation and pledge, please.
Heavenly Father, we know that only through you, Lord, can our hearts and our eyes be open to the Holy Spirit. Even our love for you, which you first gave us, even our faith for you, which you gave us, is all from you, Lord. We can take no credit, nor should we, or should we have to. You are omnipotent. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Anyone sign that? Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Well, you're not on Zoom. Hang on a second. Is there anyone on Zoom wishes to speak publicly? You need to sign up. Thank you, Mr. Simmons.
AM, AM and fireworks and all. We got somebody who's, I guess it'd get up early in the morning, like let them off, but it goes first. It's like to say these ordinary fireworks, kids playing in the borders. Been here from a mile and a half away. These people here over on that side, so it's closer out over miles away. They wait to be up. If you have a lot of issues. Since the last meeting, I found out we've had dealt with it. Had our dog outside, so we had. We let one of these off and here's the dog trying to get back inside. Now she had fractured neck. And they get ready. We need help. We don't need help with dad. In a good word of strangling. That's a shame to say. But we need some type of importance or something this county that can be helpful to everybody. I'm not trying to take all the fun out of everything, all the holidays. Realize, everybody has to do a celebration sometimes. We need help with our area.
Thank you. You're actually supposed to sign in before the meeting, but go ahead. But
My name is Daniel Shell, I'm Enterprise 2. I lived there all my life. And like Ford would say, and these fireworks are really getting out of hand. I've got an older uncle and stuff, and he was in the military, and with this stuff goes off, it scared him. And it brings flashbacks back. I've got animals, they're scared. And like you said, I don't take the fun out of it. I was a kid once too, so. But this all night long stuff has got to stop. We need to have some kind of ordinance where we can at least slow it down. Because you got elderly people that are scared, animals that are scared. You ever take your animals around loud, even thunder and lightning are scared, and it just becoming a nuisance for our neighborhood. And 90% of it in that, and expression of that is from, we have a major drug problem down in Orleans. That's all there is backpacking, and there's two major houses right below mine, and you know, they know about them, you know, and the law comes to my house and that you get evidence, any more evidence, we know what's going on. It's a matter of time, we'll take that. So, you know, they're the ones that's doing this stuff. They're out all the time of night, stealing, in your garbage. Open your garbage bags up, steal your stuff out of your garbage, you find it on, stuff you throw away, it's on the porch. You know, it's a shame that it's, our community's come to that. We used to have a nice community. And I'd like to see it back the way it used to be. All I got.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Okay, at 10:05, we have a couple life-saving awards for Harrison County EMS Deputy Director Jeffrey Way and Assistant Chief Eddie Jenkins. Guys want to come on up? Recognition, great work and courage, quick thinking and selfless action. On May 21st, 2025, you guys recognized that a driver was suffering from a medical emergency, so slip back to your vehicle. Safety is not. Your bravery and compassion in a moment of crisis reflect the highest standards of humanity and service to others. And on behalf of the county commissioner and probably everybody in this room, county, thank you for your service. Mr. Lee Jenkins. Mr. Jeff Flood. Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you, guys. That's it. You got it. Well, you'd say something. You said the first time. I know, I'm sure.
So, Madam President, I would like to add that I talked to the gentleman. But, and very happy that they thought of that and he fit out. Very grateful. Just want to try to come today. So, and I believe Dr. Shiver might be the one to say the word. Got off through.
Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to say something about these two gentlemen?
Dr. Shiver, were you able to make it on?
Yes, hey, I'm here, working today up at Ruby. Just wanted to congratulate these gentlemen on always being on the lookout. You know, they weren't necessarily dispatched to this call, of course. It's just something they came across, and they're always vigilant to be diligent about the assistance they can bring to the community. So just really grateful for them looking out and noticing that something was irregular and not right, and safely allowing both their initial assessment and then procuring transport resources and other resources to help get the vehicle to safety. Of course, the patient had already been taken to appropriate care and had a much better outcome because of their efforts than they would have without. So just super grateful for them and want to recognize that.
I'd just like to say he's got one of years watching grow up service. They live it every day. But just wonderful assets to our community. So proud to be able to work with individuals they are. See our families here to recognize what they do every day. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Don't you guys love when somebody can bring details to watch you grow up? Congratulations.
Oh, sorry.
And for the record, I believe we got word that Mr. Hinkle is not going to make it to the meeting today, correct?
That is correct.
10:10, we have first reading of countywide firework ordinance. Can I just read the title of that? I don't have to read the whole thing. Okay, before the County Commission of Harrison County, West Virginia is a fireworks discharge restriction ordinance. Need to say anything now for that? Okay. So that concludes the first reading. And when will the second reading be? Okay.
Take care of publication. Did change, update a little bit, so that there's just a sign and deed on it.
If you want, if anybody wants to see that, all it is West Virginia Code 7-1. You could literally have somebody bring that up for you. 7-1, West Virginia Code 7-1.
It will be announced for sure, the second reading. I need to check the publication dates, to make sure. At the needs to run and everything, but it will be at either the second meeting, July 2nd, or the license.
Number 2, consent agenda. What's the pleasure? Motion to approve consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carried. Number 3, payroll change notices A through I.
Madam President, I do need to pull B off.
Or, yes, when the preview came out, it was A through D, and then on Friday, it's A through I. How come?
With some Parks and Rec employees, there were 4 Parks and Rec employees that hired their summer program.
I wasn't spoken to on the promotion to assistant county administrator.
That was originally commissioner. Agenda item. Here. We talked about. Especially in my absence, when I'm not here.
Well, I for one am not for this at this point in time. I already had discussed it with you, I've discussed it with Michelle. I think we can take time and work on this to get somewhere. But again, I go back to, we cut other budgets and we've already added 1 position. And now here we want to do something else. So that's just my 2 cents. So I'd like to. I don't know how.
I'll make the motion to approve A, B, C, F, G, H, I.
A, B, C,
F, G,
F, G, H, I. Okay, motion's been made to approve payroll changes A, B, C, F, G, H, and I. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 4, minutes and or amended minutes of previous meetings, A and B. What's the pleasure? Motion to approve 4A and B. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 5, requisitions, purchase orders, invoices, A through D. Motion to approve A through D. I had some questions, but they got answered. Thank you. And I like the answer too. Sorry. Okay. Is there a motion to approve A through D? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. We have no exoneration, corrective tickets, or joint property applications. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam President.
Thank you. Number 7, consideration of approval of a project fund requisition for the payment of costs associated with the project to be financed from proceeds of the Series 2019 bonds issued for the Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District, Series 2021 A and B Development District Number 3, White Oaks Project Number 2, and Series 2008A Charles Point Project Number 2, North Land Bay Improvements A and B. What's the pleasure?
Motion to approve it.
Motion to approve 7A and B. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, at 10:15, we have a special funding request from the Clarksburg Harrison Regional Housing Authority requesting $1,500 donation for their annual back to school event and cookout for low income children and their families in August of 2025. Motion to allocate the $1,500 to the Clarksburg Harrison Regional Housing Authority. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. I mean, there's no one in here to speak to this. Are you on Zoom by chance, if you wanted a chance to? Okay. Number 8, review, discuss, order to show cause against delinquent or unprogressed estates. Okay. Is this for notification or it's just to notify? Okay.
Make a motion to notify.
And a fixed signature. I don't know, is there a signature? Motion to move forward with the show cause against delinquent or unprogressed estates. That's to fix the appropriate signature.
President, right?
I think it's all three. Or at least a two of them. Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 9, review, discuss, consider Washington Street parking lot uses.
Madam President, this was originally Commissioner Hinkle's agenda item that he requested to be on there. I don't have all the details of what he was going to say. I know one of the things that he mentioned to me, in conversations that he's had with either of you, is having 2 of the parking lots as employee parking lots and having the third one, the lower one, free parking was my understanding, but I can't speak completely to that since it was his agenda item and he had several different ideas.
Well, let me say this right now, what we have right now is free parking for the people. Since he's parking there. So our senior people who pay for parking because they have a parking spot, are paying for parking. Our newer people are just parking in the back. That's the whole. As far as their 8 hours a day, we pay attention. Few cars come and go to the county's office. But so you tell me what you want, because I know that, on April 5th, they sent a document to the street assistant. Kinsey. And they haven't everything signed back, so they haven't started on that. You tell me what we need to do for this and I'll do it, because I've said this to everybody. It doesn't matter if I go to PNC with my dad, or it doesn't matter if I go to Maryland with my son. Put your license in, put your credit card in, you leave, they send you a bill. It's not rocket science, guys.
Who's that? Who sends the bill? Because I think that was the issue. That was,
So they compile a list of all the pictures of the license plates. They send the commission office a list of all the license plate. We are responsible for finding out whose vehicle it is and sending them the ticket. You are correct where this was approved in a previous meeting when we went to sign the agreements. It was not the understanding that I had of what we envisioned. I'm not sure where the breakdown came between, because I passed it off to the director of maintenance, between him and the consultants that met out there. But it has us sending out the tickets after we find out whose car it is, vehicle it is. And it also did not allow for people to pay right there. And that was one of the main things of why we acquired the parking lots, is because people didn't want to use an app. They wanted to be able to pay at a kiosk or something along those lines. And so that is not what we envisioned. And that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about those parking lots. And like I said, he had a thought on it. I'm not exactly quite sure of the exact details. But we do need to figure out how we're going to handle this, because if we go with what was approved in the fine detail, that's us sending all the bills.
Now, let me ask you,
Why don't we involve girls?
Hmm?
Why don't we just put our license in, our credit card in?
because we've had, no, you can't do that. I think that's what she's telling me. You can't use your credit card.
You could, if you're going to go in and you can enter on an
But
app,
that's not
your
gonna
license
help
plate,
the
your credit
little
card
old
number.
ladies going to the dentist.
Why don't we
Oh,
just,
man.
why don't we just put it?
Or me.
Where they put in their driver's license and their credit card. And I don't wanna hear the little old lady, because the little old lady was young when we started computer age. We're dumbing down West Virginia constantly. Our people can do. And I only hear they can't because the person that was set in 1975 was the person that heard when they got on their computer, so they know what the heck they're doing. They're not illiterate. We're not illiterate here. We're educated people that can put in our license plate and our credit card, because you can't get gas. And you can't buy groceries. And you can't do anything. Because it's not a cash world anymore.
So I did have a conversation with those contractors saying, hey, this is not exactly what I had envisioned. Am I understanding this correctly? They did say that they could put in a kiosk, for a couple thousand more, where you can pay by credit card. Enter your license plate number, enter your credit card, or put cash in, whatever it is. So that can be done. But again, for those that don't pay, the only recourse is them sending us the list of all the license plates, and then us trying to track who owns that license plate and sending them the bill, which was not the understanding I had. I thought someone else took care of that.
I'm hard on this. And the reason I'm hard on this is because certain cities, you go to speed limit. There's no police officer. You just get a bill. So take a picture of your driver's license. You're 145 and a 25. You get a bill.
This is the same process, Patsy, but she understood that they would be sending the bill out, but we wouldn't be held responsible.
What I'm saying is that there is no cash in. You could see. Naval base. You just put in your credit card. And you just put in your cell phone or your license plate number. There's nothing involved. There's no bill phone involved. And I believe with all my heart and my soul. You get through the 13 questions to get fuel at the end of this. We can do this. I'm having a hard time imagining we came all here. Get paid parking, and get a $500 million from a parking lot that right now is just housing employees.
Well, then maybe we need them to see the information on the kiosk.
And I'm with you on that. But we also have to start doing our job from an administration standpoint. We have shared this with you and Mark. And I'm gonna go back with 2 weeks ago, said, well, we didn't sign anything. So I go to the minutes, I find the minutes on August 21st. I find the email 3 days later. The administration sent on a year later. Sent on an email from April 5th here. Yeah, I started administrating. Because we're just running the plans. I think we think our administration can get this ability to pay. And when we sold that, don't get this at the break, but when we voted on it, Susan, it's a 2-1 vote. That was top parking lot for us. We were gonna generate revenue and paid for the parking lot over 1,000 years. See what I'm saying? Anyway, what would you like to do, Susan? I'll do whatever you say, right?
Well, I mean, I'd like to know more about the kiosk if that would work.
Now, let me-
And maybe if there's an app too, we could use both. I mean, I don't,
I agree with you, but you're complicated. Just one way in.
Okay.
Every single citizen has a debit card there or a credit card there. Every single citizen has a license plate that pulls in there. It's just.
I mean, does that? We look into the kiosk and make sure that's copacetic.
That way you don't even need a gate. No one goes up or down, you just do that. And by the time you go.
But the only thing is are we gonna have, for the employees, that's. What happens if somebody comes in and parks in the employee spot?
We're gonna have to. Please on the parking. That's just a big sign. Believe me, I fire people complain about everything. You think someone will go crazy if someone's in their parking?
That's the only reason I think an arm for the employees.
Okay, I'm good with that. See what, fine.
Would work for that.
And if you walk up there to the top parking lot, there's a conduit, or obviously somebody.
And even if there's an arm that you could put a credit card in, or a debit card.
Fine. Fine, after key, just like.
Yeah.
We do now. This is not easier for me. It's everybody else does it.
So we
Anyway,
know what we're doing, right? I'm not trying to be a,
No, information on the kiosk, also about the arm.
Now, let me ask you something, Mr. Attorney, I don't want to do anything we shouldn't. Now, we've already told a vendor that they were gonna do this. Do we get, if this goes over the amount that Warren can approve on our own, should we put this all out to bid? Tell them it's all right, do that.
That's good on. That it's a friction project as well as the scope.
So I don't want to do anything we shouldn't, but
We do have things are certain, it's don't need to do that. Otherwise, the pay for it. Penalties.
let's do it exactly as we're supposed to, regardless of how bad makes us look. And let's do it right, and let's get it done, let's go 1 year. 1 year, you know, okay, so we know what we're,
so there's no action to be taken on number 9.
unless I'm talking about 6 months from now,
Okay. You can read it back up.
but then I'm gonna.
You will.
stop. All right.
Okay, number 10, review, discuss, consider Clarksburg Harrison Regional Housing Authority Board Member reappointment request for Mr. Roger Diaz from Executive Director Rhonda L. Lindsay. Motion to approve Mr. Roger Diaz for another term for the Clarksburg Harrison Regional Housing Authority Board. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Review, discuss, consider West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection's reappointment letter reappointing Elaine Lucent to the Board of Directors of Solid Waste Authority effective July 1st, 2025, with term expiring June 30th. Motion to approve Ms. Lucenti for another term for the West Virginia Department, wait a minute. Reappointments, Board of Directors of Solid Waste Authority, there we go. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carried. Number 12, review, discuss, consider budget revisions A through C.
Madam President, in your packet, you have budget revisions for General County and Coal Severance. These are all within the department line item.
Motion approved, A through C, okay.
Just A and C, please. We don't have any for vital services for this agenda.
These are just on here to help, so. Motion to approve number 12, A and C. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Hey, guys, I knew you were on here and I just kind of overlooked you. 1020, special funding request from Lost Creek Community Festival, Inc., requesting $4,000 for their annual community festival held on the 19th and 20th of September.
Yes.
Hey, gentlemen, you know, we give a $3,000 for anything 2 or 3 days. And for 1 day event, it's at 1,500. So we're gonna make the motion to get the $3,000 that we would give anybody for a 3 day, 2 or 3 days.
That's fine. Anything's appreciated. Y'all know what we do out there.
We do.
So, thank you.
It's all about the food.
Calm down. We'll be there on.
Alright. Get $3,000, please.
Motion to approve $3,000 for the Lost Creek Community Festival. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. There you go. Good to see you guys.
See y'all.
Good to see you.
Number 13, review, discuss, consider budget revisions for the assessor's office.
Madam President, these from the assessor's office, I've checked the accounts. They do look good.
Motion to approve assessors office revision.
Motion to approve the budget revisions for the assessor's office. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carried. Number 14, review, discuss, consider sheriff's line item revisions to the current 2024-2025 fiscal or budget for the following divisions.
So, Madam President, in looking at these budget revisions, in your packet, I gave you a color-coded copy so you can see. There are 2 that I do not recommend approving, and my reasoning for that is those are negative line items. So we can't move like $230 from 223, which is already negative $6,455, and we can't move $1,970 from 223 because again, it's negative. So all the other lines are able to have those transfers, just those 2 under 700, 223, I would recommend not approving because of the negative line items.
So where's the 8374 gonna come from if you don't backfill those negative line?
Somewhere else.
That
Does he
would
have
be-
money somewhere else?
That would be his responsibility or to figure it out. He might be able to take some from.
I'm not sure we'll let them decide that, we're telling them what to do, but I'm gonna make a motion to go ahead and table this till next meeting. Until we know where the 8374 is gonna come from.
And he has time to get it in time, right?
Yes, I've spoke with Erica in bookkeeping and we agreed that the first meeting in July can take care of any budget in transfer revisions for this current fiscal year.
And even if we had to do something.
Yes.
Okay,
But I think that's
no.
a cleaner way to do
Yeah.
it. Let him,
let him make up his own mind. We're not gonna tell him what to do, it's his department, we need to know where the 8370.
The only thing we can't do is move money into his department. Because it's past that June 15th for the auditor's office and that deadline for any transfers between department to department.
right, and that's not what he's asking.
Right, no, he's not asking.
Now, my question is, and I should have it here, we've got, he's taking from 103. What line item is that? Oh, I can look right here. I got it in front of me,
So
because that.
is it 10300?
This is. Oh, that's 703, that's staging.
So that is staging. So what he's doing with the staging, and my recommendation would be to go ahead and approve these. He took money from salary, but he's putting it in that overtime and extra help. Because while he did not have a full-time person, they covered those shifts with the extra help of part-time people. So he's taking it out of salary and moving it there.
So we're saying it's okay because it's going from salary to overtime versus just a salary to another. Materials and supplies or tires or something like that.
Correct.
Okay, so.
I just want to make sure we stay consistent with anything coming out of the salary line.
Motion table. Motion to move forward from 703 staging, a table 700 wall.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the motion for number 14 is to table 700 law enforcement revisions and approve 703 staging revisions, correct?
That is correct.
Any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, number 15, review, discuss, consider budget revisions for the circuit clerk's office. There weren't any issues with those, I don't believe, were there?
Correct. There were no issues with these whatsoever.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve budget revisions for the circuit clerk's office as presented. I'm gonna hit that in there. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We have number 16, review, discuss, consider prosecutor's recommendation.
So we even attached the breakdown, the expenditure report in your packet for the prosecutors. Budget revisions.
Now, this is to move money from supplies into payroll.
No, it is moving money out of the overtime line item. As it comes to payroll, it would be moving money from overtime and extra help down to whether it's travel, reimbursement, materials or supplies and new equipment.
From all
You
these,
said you want to take everything and then just move it into payroll?
no,
No, she
she's
wants
taken out of overtime, training, printing, professional services, contractual investigations, extra help, charges by other governments, dues and subscriptions, and putting that $19,500 into travel, reimbursement, materials and supplies and new equipment. So she's taken out of extra help and overtime, which I think that's something that,
I did speak with the prosecutor because I just want to double check to make sure that this is what she was requesting. They had some big expenses with furniture this year, trying to get the third floor where it needed to be. She'll be giving back 44,000 in salaried line items. And she didn't start the new hires. Like the part-time help and everything that she usually starts in May, that she does have budgeted for, in this current fiscal year for this month. And she was waiting until the new budget year in order to save money for, these expenditures that she knew that she had coming out.
Okay, so she's gonna take 19,000. Give back 44 to general fund. Library, right?
Yes, sir.
And what this 19,000 also will go for is the mid three items.
That will go to the 4 items, the travel, the reimbursement, the materials and supplies, and the new equipment.
Okay. Motion to approve the $19,000 for travel. and materials.
19,560, just to be specific, please.
motion to approve the budget revisions for the prosecutor's office. How's that? Now, my only comment is what happens when she doesn't have the money to give back? Are we still going to allow her to take out of overtime and extra help?
You know, it's for the next 5 purposes. That, every year, the same exact items. Does that make?
I mean, I don't have an issue, but we need to be consistent.
Yeah,
with this.
every year,
These things.
the same exact items have extra in them, that makes you wonder why did they approve them?
Right.
in March, it's the exact same items, it's like playing spades, we're sandbagging. But this is taxpayers' money. So, yes, yeah.
I think this needs to be discussed and whether there's money in there or not, I think I'll prove it this time. But I think from here on forward or the next budget, we need to make it clear that this shouldn't happen.
well, I did you that, President. I bring this stuff up every budget, everything, oh God, wait, but every year, the same money transfers.
Oh, I know.
Every year, I mean, this isn't.
We need to keep these and have them at budget time.
And one of the things that maybe we put out, the commission approves and puts out a memo or anything from between 101 and 112, which would be anywhere from the salary line item down to longevity. Those are only towards salary stuff, that they cannot
As
be
long as we can do
transferred
that.
below the 112.
I mean, I just want to make we can't do that. I just want to, because once you give it to them, I don't know what you can do. That's an issue we'll have to address.
We'll
to-
look at that, and if that's the case, then that way,
Because I'm not here to take something I can't take.
if we would be allowed, then I would recommend the commission
Do a
vote on it,
policy.
put it up, and let's do it at the very beginning. That way they know, beginning this fiscal year, from the get-go, these are the clear expectations. Is that fair?
Fair enough. Okay, so all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, review, discuss, consider proposal from McKinley A&E to perform a space utilization feasibility study at the Harrison County Courthouse.
Madam
Is this not done before we built this one?
No, that was one of the problems, especially Commission President
I've
always
said that since before I was here.
brought up that we should have done that before we built this, but even thought about
I
building
think
this
we need to
building.
look at the annex as
Um,
well. I just think that's a lot of money just to tell us we can fit.
So with it, they did revise it. I know it's not 50,000 as what originally. went.
Oh, it's not?
Well, it's 49,824.
Oh, okay, it's still
So-
$50,000.
I just wanted to add that, with it, they do plan on working with, Supreme Court to see
I
those
understand.
needs.
I understand, but I think we could check to see how much square foot is on the second and third floors of the annex. And check to see if they'll fit, because basically all we have now is space on the second floor and some on the first floor of the courthouse. Correct?
Correct.
And I think we could figure that out and maybe work with what's required from the Supreme Court. But my only other, we need to check this building. And
Bless you.
once they find out what's the matter with the courthouse, we may be sorry we asked them to look at it. So
Yeah.
you gotta take all this into consideration. We got two buildings over here and one that we haven't maintained for years. And we need to see what kind of shape it's in and what happens if it's not safe for these people that are in there. And if there's not enough room in the courthouse. That's what my concerns are. So,
Well, I agree with you. Like, I know before 2021, we did not have like a preventative maintenance plan around the different properties for the county. and
I
that's
would
been
venture to
changed.
say there's never been preventative maintenance programs. At least for a long time.
Now we,
Talk about
now, the only thing I know from 21 to current, we've started on that with our HVAC and all those kind of things. But as for other kind of preventative maintenance, it's been lack for a long time.
And I think that's something that desperately needs looked into, especially that building, if it's in as bad a shape as some people think it is. So we need to know that, because that's a lot of cha-ching to deal with once we get to a point we can figure out what we need to do.
Yeah, sure. Like, for example. You know, Jesuit Mines, chambers, which is small. Being adjacent to your old office, the Supreme Court didn't give us directive on how to redesign that. Only if it be approved by them.
I mean, yeah, I want to work with them.
Yeah.
Yes, there's requirements, and I know they're going, I mean, McKinley put in there that they would work with them,
Okay,
but there's requirements of space.
we need to have a, can we, no, talk to them, Supreme Court, can we?
I
just say
think we
follow
can
what
find
you
out. I
want?
think the Supreme Court can tell us what we need.
Yeah. And then, I guess,
I can call Melissa and say, hey. Somebody can call Melissa and say, hey, what do we do? Or somebody down there. I mean, I think we need, but that's an awful lot of money to find out. In my book. But now we know how much it would cost. So there's no action to be taken at this time. Okay. Okay, number 18, review, discuss, consider agreement between the Harrison County Commission and the Arc of Harrison County.
So we did just approve an agreement within the past couple commission meetings, but they had the wrong pay per hour on it. They had $10.20 where they've raised it to $11, so just put it back in front of the commission for approval for the,
Basically an amended
yes,
due to the hourly.
due to that hourly rate.
split.
Motion to approve.
Yes, but
Motion to approve the agreement between the Harrison County Commission and the Arc of Harrison County with the changes. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 19, review, discuss, consider designating First Guarantee Bank, Harrison County Bank, Huntington Bank, MVB Bank, and Truist Bank as county depositories for the fiscal year 2025-2026 per West Virginia Code 761.
So this was brought to my attention, must have been an email going around on the county clerk's listserv. And I knew that it's something that we, at the commission office, I wasn't aware of us doing. So looking into it, it is something that we are supposed to do every year, but Mine, Trey, you want to elaborate what you've also researched and found out?
It's, the case law defines it as a ministerial act of the county. There's no discretion. It's just filing a list. The case law also talks about, there's no downside. If,
So it's just basically where we can deposit our money in the county.
What banks we use in the county?
yes,
Now, is there anything for going out to bid for the banks? I mean, and I know that's not us, but did you ever come across anything like that when you were?
sometimes I see public entities go out on like a money market account and they'll solicit proposals to see who has the best rate for a money market or who will provide the best terms and conditions for those type of accounts. But other than
But there's
that,
no, they don't have to do it like every year, every 2 years, or every
no,
term, or. Okay,
no.
I'm just hoping.
So
But-
like the new sheriff, because it's now his reign, like he doesn't have to do it.
As to the sheriff, I don't know as the county treasurer if there's some requirement that he has to do that in the code. I haven't looked at that.
Now, would he do that on the money market accounts? Because he is the treasurer, correct? does
He
it on all the
probably,
accounts.
he probably would do that
Okay.
if we'd want, joint discussion on the issues, but that's his role
That's.
as the sheriff under the statutory framework. It's the county
I
treasurer.
don't want anything in that. I just asking.
And then you also need to look at collateralization and security on the accounts. And if the county would look at its accounts, it want to make sure they're all adequately insured. That's just the other thing we look at usually, but other than that. And there's not a lot of competition.
Right,
There has been more recently because the rates have gone up a little bit.
thank you. Okay, so we just need to make a motion to designate these banks as a depository.
please state that.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Did you get it, or Dawn, you understand? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 20, review, discuss, consider appointing a pro tem for the county commission.
So Madam President, again, this was Commissioner Hinkle's item to have a backup signature individual. That way, if you would ever be out of town for 2 weeks or whatever, someone else could sign.
I'm not afraid to go on vacation, by the way. I read that in the papers. I wouldn't. I think I read something about I'd be able to take a 2-week vacation. She, didn't say me, but she could take a 2-week vacation. I don't think we've had an issue. I mean, I don't. And is this something that we can do?
You can do it. A lot of places do have backup. Signer. It's up to you all. Haven't had an issue.
Because what would I mean, if I'm not available, could not the two of them sign? That's what's always been, I mean, I know, well, I'm not gonna say those words because I don't like that.
The issue would be. Would all the institutions without a resolution be okay? All that pieces. She could sign.
I've signed all the bank stuff on
She could sign
electronically and I hated every second.
Yeah,
of it.
no issue with that at all. It's just a question of whether she wants a true 2-week vacation or if she wants to get
No.
emails to sign stuff. That's up to you.
Oh, still vacation every time?
You call me too and I'm on vacation.
No.
And
I
I've
think it's probably
done
fine.
stuff from.
That's-
Okay. Number 21, review, discuss, consider policy and procedures for press releases for the county commission offices.
So this is part of what I believe Commissioner Treecost wanted on there, but also to define things for all the commission offices. Like, for example, I'd recommend that we put it out that, like no one, like OEM 911, anyone can do a press release or anything unless it goes through the commission office and is approved. So we don't want, some of the departments just putting things out.
Take any action on that. So we know what we're doing, right? Number 22, review, discuss, consider letter to the Alcohol Beverage Control Administration. How about them Apples LLC doing business as 9 Hops, 1116 Cambria Road, Lumberport, West Virginia? What's a pleasure? Motion to approve letter to the Alcohol Beverage Control Administration regarding How About Them Apples LLC. Yes. Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. 23, review, discuss, consider resolution to apply for the West Virginia Courthouse Facilities Improvement Funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. As you recall, a couple weeks ago, I sent out an email of the opening of the CFIA grant and asked for suggestions. And in the meeting 2 weeks ago, I learned about the fire alarm system in the courthouse being non-functional at times. So I kind of made the executive decision and decided to do a grant to replace the fire alarm system. And I'm hoping for your blessing on this. And this is just for you to approve it to be done and for the commission president to affix their signatures.
Motion to approve as stated by the grant writer Gina Jones. My only question is, are they for both buildings?
They will.
Okay. 'Cause that's always
I
been
did
an
get,
issue.
I got your email that you replied, and I called about that because always in the past,
Had issues.
they had
Couldn't hear
issues with doing stuff for annex. And from what they told me, that they will consider an annex, it just doesn't score as high on an application. But being that this project is covering the whole building and the annex, it's really one of the top priorities in their grant application categories is life-saving. So I think it would be a better application.
So my only question. So all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Thanks, Gina. Number 24, review, discuss, consider travel request for 911 employees to go to the APCO International Conference and Exposition in Baltimore, Maryland, from July 25th through the 31st, 2025. Oh, all that for Chris Cutright. Okay.
Madam President, I would actually ask that this one be tabled. They have not completed all the documentation and paperwork, so I would hate to approve this without the complete packet.
Motion to table. Okay. Motion to table. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None motion carried. Administrators report number 25.
So just want to remind everyone that the county offices will be closed the next 2 days, Thursday and Friday this week. The courts and the security for the front doors of the courthouse will be open. As of right now, I'm not sure if there'll be any other direction given to them later on today, but that's how it stands as of right now. I also just received a text while we're having this meeting. The county's wireless emergency notification system sent out that West Main Street is closed to vehicle and foot traffic between South Third Street and South Second Street in the area of the courthouse due to a gas line break to avoid the area. So,
But we don't have to evacuate.
no,
Okay.
my text message did not say anything about evacuating, and no one from the 911 center called me on my phone while we've been in this meeting, but I did want to make note of those.
Let's hope they get that fixed.
I did have a couple. It turns out, check the curtains, judges, courtrooms, bar racks. I have it. I don't know how much that's gonna be.
Which did it?
All of them, they're original. Then I could tear.
Let's get our needle.
Good luck.
I bet they're getting heavy too.
So I know, like, when Judge Schaefer, when we redid some of his stuff, that those, when they took them down, they were like dry, rotten, and crumbled. But for some reason, I was thinking that that's part of something we can apply for the courthouse security.
We actually found out we couldn't.
Not for security.
Okay, because I thought someone told me that we,
I think you're thinking the tinted windows.
The tenant
Okay.
windows.
okay, but yeah, we can check on the pricing for those.
I'm just joking.
Your petition sports students.
That's okay. That's again, okay.
But anyway, well, fit this out, or I don't know if you have to fit, but I don't bet they're more than 15,000.
Would you like me to check with them to see if they want curtains or blinds before we do anything?
Yeah, check with them and see what the there may be a requirement, you know.
Because I believe Judge Schaefer chose to have blinds replacing his, so let me check with them and then
His aren't as big as.
we'll get them out.
Okay, well,
Well, I guess they are, they probably.
what?
I don't think that you want.
Andes.
Oh, that's right, Andy. No, Schaefer's, that's right. Sorry.
Andes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Susan, I'm gonna have Laura scheduled for me, but if you wanna make it a part of what we do, I'll let you pick the second or the fourth Wednesday, and the department heads. Want to make that an open meeting that we could all attend and discuss, or do you want me just to be in just a communication meeting like we were
I
having?
mean, informational, can we not do it? I mean, I don't know.
If you want to come, what's better, second or fourth, if you care.
It doesn't.
Make it the second meeting, second Wednesday.
I just can't take two.
We're not gonna vote, just to talk about, yeah. No different than we did with Tommy Haven.
Like I said, as long as it's.
We didn't make any decisions, we just heard. Let's find out what's going on with the county, and then if we have to make an agenda item, then we can move it. So let's take the second Wednesday of each month. 10 a.m. Schedule the department head. Well, would you rather be the fourth Wednesday?
Well, the only thing I asked, I believe, Commission President, you had something on that Wednesday, because that's what we talked about, that full severance meeting being on Tuesday.
Well, this is regular, this is gonna be annual, 12 months a year.
Okay,
So once a month, we'll have a department head meeting, so we're all in communication on everything, all the time. So we're not, you know,
then Tuesday work. The second one works.
Second, 10 a.m.
And if we can, we.
I think you can make it, can't make it, don't like it. As far as the department heads, another Tuesday, except for Wednesday, second, Wednesday of the month. Then again, meeting and our call for the. Everything for it. And what? Okay.
Okay, I have nothing.
You did.
I'm good.
Shit, you're.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Laura, do you have to go sign for the papers for the property today?
Susan has, everything is set up and ready for her to print out in one office.
No, cold, okay.